Welcome back to Across a Thousand Dead Worlds, a sci-fi horror RPG by Blackoath Entertainment. Last week, we left off with our protagonist, Ava Rodriguez, jumping off a waterfall at the bottom of a frigid, dead world. At the sound of the dulcet tones coming out of this colossal jellyfish creature, Ava got the sense that there's a secret at the bottom of this underwater temple, and as she approached the waterfall, she remembered her time back at the Garden City when she broke into one of the hotels for rich Martian tourists, and she remembers seeing for the first time a waterfall of pristine water right in the middle of the hotel lobby, and she climbed up it and jumped off, and that was one of her few happy memories from her childhood and the last time that she saw her brother. As she jumps off this waterfall, I want to begin by asking a question. Is this water in this waterfall? It shouldn't be, because it is quite cold down here. To remember, she is wearing her vac suit due to the temperature. Okay, let's try this prediction subroutine. I think it is very likely that this is not water. 12. It is not water. As Ava is jumping into the waterfall, she is completely enraptured in her own visions of her past. And she remembers jumping off that waterfall in Mars and looking back up to the top of the falls and gesturing to her brother to come jump after her. And her brother was hesitant, but then he jumped, or he was about to, but all of a sudden he staggered and he fell, but not a jump. As Ava watched, she saw a trail of blood following him on the way down. It looks like he was shot in the head by a rifle from the security of the establishment. And Ava fell in with her brother falling after, and the water turned to blood. And as she remembers that image, all of a sudden she snaps back to where she is, and the water that she's kind of jumping through is actually starting to corrode at her vac suit because it's not water, it's some sort of liquid metal substance, and she immediately starts scraping at her body to try to get as much of this substance off as she can, so that it doesn't corrode through her vac suit to leave her exposed to the frigid temperatures. Does she fall into the basin, or is she able to avoid submerging herself in the liquid? I'm going to say that's 50-50. 5. She is not able to avoid submerging herself into the liquid. So she falls in and is completely doused. The irritation starts burning into the vac suit, and she crawls up to the surface and starts rolling on the ground to try to get rid of the last bits of this liquid metal substance. But she is unfortunately going to take a wound for this. Let's roll on the injuries table. 18. Blood loss. A deep wound begins bleeding profusely. So the liquid metal starts cutting into her stomach, and all of a sudden she can see that it's starting to soak through and blood is starting to seep out. So she will take a wound. Is she able to apply something to reseal the vac suit? This will depend on what was left in the ship when she boarded it. So let's ask, did she have any sealant for her vac suit in the ship? I'm going to say that this is likely, mostly because I want to try to be a little nice to Ava. 5. There is no sealant in her vac suit. At this point, Ava's vac suit has been penetrated, so in addition to the wound that she's taken, she is also going to be taking the freezing condition. So the freezing status is the afflicted has -5 to all skills and acts last during combat. They may pass a con check after the first round to recover, which does not apply in this instance because the freezing condition is continuous as she is now subject to the frigid cold, through her vac suit. Humanoids will worsen every 10 rounds or each time track reset, first falling into hypothermia, -10 to all actions, then death. So, speaking of the time tracker, Ava has currently been through 3 ticks of the time tracker. The first room, where she fought 2 mobs, then a dread event, then the 3rd mob. And now she's falling into that basin room. So this will be the 4th of 6 marks on the time track. When this resets, she will start falling into hypothermia, and that's going to be -10 to all of her actions. Let's roll again on the exploration table. 0, a random occurrence. First, let's roll for the type of random occurrence. 2, discovery. For random occurrences, the overall story so far and the description of the site are added to give context to whatever is rolled for the random occurrence, in which case what this discovery is going to be about. So whatever this discovery is, I suspect that this colossal jellyfish wanted us to find it. 8, strange atmospheric readings. Let's roll for 1 verb and 1 temple associated noun to figure out what these strange atmospheric readings are. For our verb, we have 4, aid, and for our noun, we have augur, the aid of an augur. As Ava is burning with that metal corroding into her skin, she begins to have further visions, and these are similar to the ones from the jellyfish creature, but they're even more intense, more direct, and she's able to see a room within this temple that has covered on it a large amount of claw marks. It appears to be some sort of vault, a colossal vault that's just been battle worn by some event that happened within the temple. And she then can see herself putting in a code into an Arisath receptacle and the vault opening. And she can clearly see the maneuvers that she uses to enter that code. And even though she can't read the panel, she now knows how to unlock this vault, wherever this vault is. So that's a cool thought. We are still freezing and wounded, so let's see how far we can get into this temple. Ava knows for certain that getting into the vault is going to save her life from this predicament, so she has to find it. Let's roll again on the exploration table. 4, Xeno artifact. Cultural, historical, or ethnologically interesting finds. Let's see what she found. A metal rod, a handle at its bottom, and a blue sphere at its top. This takes 1 gear slot to hold. Just beyond the basin, Ava enters a room that has this metal rod in the middle of a pedestal. She picks it up. Let's see what it does. Ava needs all the help she can get, so she's going to try to figure out what this artifact is. Let's attempt to use the artifact. To do so, Ava must make a technology check. I'm assuming this means Arasath technology, so that's what I'm going to go with. To succeed at this check, Ava needs to roll a natural 20. So easy. Okay, no luck. Ava tries manipulating the object, but nothing seems to stand out as a way to use this apparatus. She tucks it into her pack. Let's continue exploring. 6. Locked access point. Aha. My bet is this locked access point is the vault door that Ava saw in her augury. So the standard method for locked access points. While exploring an area, some access points and entries will be closed. When this happens, roll below to determine what type of door it is. So we know that this is a vault door. I'm going to call this a dread door. Something feels wrong about this door. Your head feels dizzy when you look at it. Characters must pass a resolve check to interact with it. Let's see if we can stomach interacting with this door. Resolve is 10. We have to beat a 20. 7. This does not beat the 20. So Ava is unable to muster the courage to open this door. Time will pass. Now that we've reached a full time tracker, we have to do upkeep. So the first thing to do for the upkeep is our current status is going to change to hypothermia, which is -10 to all actions. With the wounded, it is now -12 to all actions. A little less importantly, we have to update Ava's gear, which is going to reduce her basic survival package -1 O2 pellet and -1 ammo for the ammo that she used in her prior encounters, and -1 battery. The basic kit starts with sufficient amounts of these, so we'll keep that track and I'll subtract it out once we're through the adventure. So the main thing is this hypothermia is kicked in and we gotta hurry and make sure we can get out of it. Each time the time tracker resets, we roll a d10 to perform an activity check. This is an activity check for the known threats on the site. 9. If the result is 1 or 2, you are ambushed by a known threat. So we are not ambushed, which is great, because Ava cannot survive an ambush right now. So due to the hypothermia and her wounds, Ava is not currently able to succeed on a resolve check. So the first thing that she needs to do is treat her wounds. But she can't even treat her fucking wounds. Oh my god. The question I have is there anything that is going to give her some additional resolve? Perhaps the jellyfish creature, might give her some through some psychic contact. And we'll say this is 50-50. No, she does not. So nothing externally is going to help raise her resolve. Let's see what Ava has in her pack that can help. Number one, if she can reduce her freezing condition, that would go a long way to allowing her to complete the resolve check. What Ava does have is a thruster pack. She quickly takes it out of her backpack and points the thrusters directly at her stomach. She flips on the pack and it is searing hot. I'm going to say that that is going to push her back from hypothermia to freezing, which again gives us -7 for all actions. Now that her status is back to freezing, let's try a medical check to try to take care of this wound. 14 plus 4 minus 2. Great. So Ava is able to spend her first 10 minutes patching up the bleeding on her stomach. She's still cold, and the vac suit is still exposed, but now that with the wounded status gone, she only has the -5 to all actions. Let's try approaching that door again. 19 plus 5 is over 20. Ava takes a deep breath finally as her bleeding subsides and then walks up to the door. And as if in a trance, she again pushes the same buttons that she saw in her vision, and a large crashing sound resonates from behind the door as age-old gears begin to turn and pull the door apart. Ava stumbles through the entryway, and that's where we'll end it for this session. Thank you for watching.